Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV, and we are here and live for Arsenal's review of the 2020-2021 season campaign. I've got Relentless and I've got Charlie Millen with us. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been too long. It's been too long. I'm literally trying to let people know that I'm live now. So bear with us 2 seconds. Yeah, Relentless, how are you, man?
Man, I've been good, man. Just taking it easy, recovering for all the beatings we took this season. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We move, man.
Yeah, we move and we're going to go into it in a little bit more detail. So, everyone, do hit that like button, do hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, please. I'm about to drop the link in as well. So, if you want to come on the show, please do. This is probably going to turn into one mad session. So, let's do this right now. Please share on your socials as well. Right, and if you want to donate to the charity, please hit the CLDF page or as a super chat is up to you. So yeah, now live. Where did he go? Yeah. So obviously we're gonna start. Obviously we'll start back way back in the season. Start of the season. What was your expectations, Charlie, going into the season?
There weren't really any, mate. If I'm being completely honest, I was quite hopeful of winning the Europa League, but that was about it. Like I had no expectations of finishing in a good position. The Prem. I don't have a lot of faith in our squad. And when I when I saw Aubameyang playing this season, I got really worried. Like I knew what was coming, right? Because he's been our Lord and Savior for quite some time now, and just losing his goals from one season to the other, just it was a tragedy waiting to happen. So it's at the end of the season now. Like I can tell you for sure that I'm very frustrated because I'm tired of seeing my club not doing anything. But it's not like I'm disappointed. It's not like I'm negatively surprised, anything like that.
Yeah, I hear that. Relentless. What do you make of it at the start of the season? What were your expectations going into the season?
My expectations, obviously, the season before, we ended it on a positive note with winning a trophy. So I was on a high. I wasn't completely sold on Arteta, but I was like, you know what? Going into the season, I expect him to at least kick on. So I was just at least expecting a top 6 finish.
Mm-hmm.
Qualify Europa League, make some adjustments, make some improvements, steady improvement. But we all know what happened. But I mean that was just my expectations. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't the greatest coach. Oh, sorry about that. I knew he wasn't the greatest coach, but I was expecting a little bit more from Arteta, if I'm being honest. But it is what it is, and yeah, that's basically what I was. But that was my mindset basically, at the start of this season. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Bargav, mate, how are you doing? First of all, and then give me your expectations.
I'm doing well now. I guess how do you describe a season like this? Let's start with what happened after the FA Cup. We won the game. Got the Community Shield. We're on a high. We got good things coming, and then Arteta fell out with some people, and then it was one thing after another. There was a string of bad games that nearly made you a drinker on a regular basis. Brought you to the point of
Why
depression.
have you got to mention it on that on the awareness on the liver awareness stream?
It's not a liver awareness stream.
Well, the liver awareness channel.
It's a channel. I mean, people who have come on, forget it. But let me continue.
Go on, carry on.
December rolled around. Depression. The depression was real in December. Boxing Day was somehow a miracle. We turned it around for a little bit, and then the season was effectively done in December, sadly. But that's been the story for the last last decade. The season being done in December.
No, it's even done in February, more like, to be honest. But you could say a lot earlier this season.
I mean, we had a chance in Europa, yes, but we put all our eggs in that one basket. And then, we played a quality team who played a really quality tie, and then we lost. And we ended up getting our hearts broken again, and we're back to square one. The same part we are last year. So that's that's the summary of our season, in my opinion. But as far as like how our season went, yeah, shit season.
What about your
Back at square one.
expectations? What were you expecting though at the start?
What was I expecting at the start? For me, I was just expecting to be in the hunt for top 4.
Okay.
The hunt, keyword.
Yeah. All right. Say, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I hope all of you are well.
Yep. Big up, everyone. And
It's
yeah,
good
what
to
was
see you,
your
man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
what was your expectations going into this season?
I'm not going to lie. I didn't have high expectations. I think I did a stream on Chick's channel, like just before the season started, and I said I
And
think we'll
that's where I
finish
met you, innit?
Yeah, and I think I said we will finish somewhere between 6 and 8. So I didn't have high expectations. I did think that we will get more points and have less losses. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it would be this bad. I think the reason why we finished 8th is because a lot of the other teams have had a lot of injuries. So like Everton, Aston Villa, they've had a lot of injuries. I think if it wasn't for that, we would have probably finished 9th or even 10th. And it was an awful season for the majority of the season. We haven't played very well. We haven't created a lot of chances. We've seen downfalls for like Aubameyang that has been something out of this world. I mean, it's not just that he's played bad, but just he hasn't looked happy. And maybe it's mentally. Maybe he's not mentally okay. Maybe the sickness with his mother affected him more than we thought. Maybe the lockdown have had an impact on him because Aubameyang usually the one who's always smiling, who's always joking. A lot of energy comes from him, and even last season he worked really hard. Up and down the flank, was tackling. And a lot of people were praising him for his hard work. But this season he hasn't turned up at all, and he doesn't look like himself anymore. And I'm worried because as much as we can say, oh, let's sell him, but nobody's buying Aubameyang. He's 32. He's on 375k a week. He's got 2 more years on his contract, and he loves London. So I think we're stuck with him. The question is, will he turn up next season, or is he just going to continue to be this awful? It's worrying. But it's been a bad season. And I think next season will be another bad season, unfortunately. I'm not gonna lie and say that I had high hopes of Arsenal next season.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel very confident going into to next season. I mean, my original expectations for this season was to build on what we did towards the end of the season and try and get to. I even gave him a bit of leeway. Say, don't get if you can't get top 4, get 5th, and we go very very far in the Europa League. Even try and win it, right? But for some reason, we faltered. We faltered very early, and then like maybe to Arteta's stubbornness, we kept playing the same system over and over and over, the same players over and over and over until literally they couldn't pick the players that he wanted. and we were given sort of that lifeline with Smith Rowe and Martinelli coming back as well, and then afterwards, people might say we had a really good record towards the end, but it was so inconsistent. It was one win, a loss, one win, a draw, one win, another defeat, or two defeats on the bounce, and it was never a really good run of games until the last 5 games was our first run of 5 games without defeat throughout the whole season, which was embarrassing. Even 3, I believe, like was the first that even the first time to get 3 on the bounce which was embarrassing. So it's
Can I
just been
just
a
say something?
disastrous season. It's just been a disastrous season.
I just want to quickly address one point because I'm most likely the most positive person here by a mile, but I should still say we didn't go on a really good run. Like our end of the season wasn't really good. It's just that this season was so crazy, and every single team in the league other than City was so inconsistent that we were the second best team for the past 23 rounds. But that was like 2/3 of the points. It wasn't that impressive. It's not like we had a champions run or anything like that. We were okay.
Yeah, we were okay,
Yeah,
and we still
I think the
lost a
reason we were
lot and
second in
drew
the
a lot. I think.
the
I think.
season was second in the table was because everyone was faltering. Oh, go on, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. We were okay in
Depending
what
on,
games?
I
Hang
think
on.
also that depending on when you check the table, you will get different results. I mean, if you check the last 10 games, for example, then you see that Liverpool were top with City
See, I don't think we were good.
Go on,
See, I
Barker.
don't think we were. I don't think we were good in any games that had incredible amount we weren't well in like the really big games that meant a lot with high pressure. I think we were good on the games that had zero pressure. I think that was the big
Yeah.
difference. I mean, when you looked at the games that had like incredible amounts of pressure, like even throughout, like, all right, when we were on that slide, right, every game was pressurized. Burnley, who else did we play on that slide? Burnley, Leicester, Aston Villa,
League.
Wolves. When it really mattered, we weren't really doing that well. Even in the Europa League, we lost against Slavia Prague, the first leg. It was a constant up and down season for all the big games. When we did do well was when the pressure was off. In the games that really didn't matter.
I mean, we
Yeah.
won a couple of derbies. Those always matter. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at when we won against Chelsea, for example, nobody expected us to win. The pressure wasn't on us to win. The pressure was
Yeah.
basically
Absolutely.
Chelsea.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it means. And it's just sad to see that when we needed to turn up, we didn't. I mean, this season you didn't even need to overperform to get into the top 4. I think if we would have scratched like 70 points, we would have got into that top 4, and that's not even a great point tally. I think we finished 5th with 75 with Una, and that's just tells you
This is the
year
thing.
75
This season's been so poor quality wise. We didn't actually need to perform. It was 6 points off the top 4, right? And we could have quite easily just won. Just all we had to do is be more consistent in any part of the season, and we would have got top 4. Because it was that. What am I trying to say here? It was that poor of a season that we didn't need to play well. We didn't need to play that well.
Did we even come up?
Can I say something? Go on.
Yeah, go.
Did we even come up with
um,
a style of play towards the end of it? I feel like we went through 5 systems this year.
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying, yeah, about how we turn up with no pressure, and I mean we have been doing that for years, but I think the reason why we do that is because a lot of the times, the teams we were playing with no pressure, they had to attack us, You understand what I'm trying to say? So the Chelsea game,
Yeah.
Man
Just
United
before
game,
you
we
carry on, I'm just gonna
we
bring
were yeah
I'm just gonna bring Brandon AFC TV in the
yeah
building. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Relentless. Yeah, carry on.
like a lot of I hear what you guys are saying about how we turned up when we felt like it, but also like in those games we were on the back foot, and I think this team actually performs better when we're on the back foot. And I think Arteta is a better defensive coach than he is like an offensive coach, because offensively it takes a bit more work, a bit more patterns, a bit more movement with the players. That
He
takes
was
a
a
bit more
defensive
work
player at
than
Man City, actually.
yeah, he's better defensively. So a lot of these games that we're winning that mean nothing against Chelsea and all these other type of teams, it's because we're on the back foot. We're on the back foot. I think that's because we play better that way. And I think when we have to go out and attack other teams, all of a sudden it's like we're running into a brick wall, because this manager, when he has to force the issue, all of a sudden he shows his true colors. So I think that's why we're in the situation where we are right now.
Yeah. Brandon, I'm gonna ask everyone. I'm gonna ask you the same question as I asked everyone. What were your expectations going into the season, and then just a brief summary of how you sum up how the season's gone.
Expectations was to be a lot better than what it was. Let's put it that way. I didn't expect us to finish in the top four because I didn't think we'd done enough in terms of signings and stuff like that. I know we got Thomas Partey, but I think we needed the attacking midfielder, which we eventually got in January. But I think we needed that right from the beginning of the season. I don't think we did enough in the summer to warrant a top four finish. But I do think we should have been finishing in, at least fifth, sixth. When you look at the players that we have on paper, obviously we can't account for the fact that Aubameyang's had one of the worst seasons Aubameyang has ever had in his career. But a lot of things, have gone wrong for us this season. You got to look at the manager. Of course, you got to look at the players as well. But we already knew this. We already expected this anyway. I mean, any Arsenal fan who thought we was finishing in the top four comfortably, you're deluding yourselves, seriously. Because let's put it this way: we finished eighth last season. The teams that finished above us improved their squad better than us in the summer, barring one or two of them. However, we should be getting more out of the players we do have, and that falls on the manager's head, in my opinion, and hopefully we can get our fingers out of our asses next season, because we need to. We've been out of the Champions League for 5 years now. That's not good enough. We're not even in Europe next season, so we have no excuses. We have a decent run at just Premier League football. If we finish outside of the top four next season, bearing in mind we only have Premier League, the FA Cup, and the League Cup to play for, then the manager needs to go, the players need to go, the owner needs to go. We already know all of this anyway. But I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Yeah, the club's in a mess, and it's just been such a draining season. I mean, I'm physically and probably mentally just drained of it all, and I can't love the club the way I used to, support the club the way I used to, because of what's just happened this season. And it's not just because of the Super League and anything. It's just how I see everything now in general. It's not the club. It's not Arsenal Football Club that I knew growing up as a kid, and I don't think it's been like that way the last time. And I've just been hoping that's not true, but I think it is.
It's not Arsenal
we're not.
Football Club at all anymore, mate. It's Arsenal franchise. That's what it is. We don't care about anything else barring money, and that stems from the owner. Any other manager would have been sacked. Let's put it, any other manager that finished in the position that we finished this season would have been sacked, whether it's his fault or not, because it's easier to get rid of a manager than it is 25 players. Right? We know that. So, and look at the managers that are available now. If we was a big club,
Conte.
we would be going and getting Antonio Conte right now. You know, the guy won the Premier League with Chelsea. You know,
It
the
wasn't even
season
the best side.
10th. You know, the season before they finished in 10th. He's gone to Inter Milan. He's won the league with Inter Milan when it's pretty much guaranteed Juventus's title every single season before it even kicks off. You know, but he's gone there and he's won Inter Milan the title. Go and get a manager like that. Seriously.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not like he's signed like wonderful players. He's signed players like Victor Moses, like Ashley Young. You know, I think Antonio Conte is so underrated. He's for me top four,
That's the
top
thing.
five.
That side, Chelsea side that he won the league with, was nowhere near the best side in the league, but he still won it, which shows the level of manager that he is. And I just don't see why fans aren't. I don't see why they're not trying to force the club to try and get him, because I think like we made the right offer. We could get him in, and I think he'd be a great sort of. I don't know whether it'd be a long term, but he definitely would put us in the right state going forward for maybe the next manager coming in after that. But
I think the issue
I'm
with
gonna
Conte,
go. I'm gonna go through some of the key games that I feel that have really sort of hit out, standed out. And I'm going to start quickly at. We'll go all the way back to the start of the season, aren't I? I'm going to start with. So we started with Fulham, 3-0, 3-1 by Liverpool. I'm going to go to Leicester City 1, Leicester 1, Arsenal 0.
That was actually the game I turned Arteta out. That Leicester City game.
Yeah, it was sort of the first sort of real warning. They weren't playing well beforehand, but that was the real warning that came from that game. Is we were still playing that 3-4-3, and it was sort of the real sort of wake up call for me. And like there was something seriously not right going wrong. I don't know if it was a fixture before that. And again, we had 14 shots on 12 shots on target, 4 shots on target out of 12. They had 2 shots and they were more clinical, but like we couldn't really like break them down because they were playing on the back foot. They were just waiting for Jamie Vardy to come on. So what was that? Would sort of like the first warning signs for you guys? Because that was for me. It was in our own ground as well.
for me, the first warning sign was the West Ham game. We won that game, but we played awful.
This one.
Got like, yeah, I think we won 2-1, and West Ham was onto us. They were battering us, and we were lucky to win that game. And that's when I was like, oh, this is going to be a long season because this manager hasn't learned. And I think after that, you could see, I think we had a couple of losses. I think we lost against Man City.
Yeah,
and
because then
Liverpool.
we lost against Leicester there, and then the next game was. I think I missed one. I think I missed one somewhere. I swear I did. Oh no, we won. We lost against Leicester. Then we beat Man United, which sort of really. I think everyone sort of looked at and went, "Oh, well, it's not that bad." I mean, all right, we scored a penalty, but right, we managed to beat Man United at Old Trafford, right? Which is like the first time we've done it in fucking years. So I think everyone sort of dialed down at that point. I mean, but then the next game after that was embarrassing, which was Aston Villa. 3-0 against Aston Villa. Right. We were battered. We should have been 9-0 down in 40 seconds, but if it weren't for VAR, but like we were destroyed in that game quite easily. And that for me was really like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm just going to come out of it. I'm just going to point out key games out of it. But Brandon, what did you say? Like, where was the game that you really sort of said that was enough for you?
The game that I said that's enough was the Leeds 1-1. Nicolas Pepe got sent off.
0-0.
In 0-0. Sorry, yeah, that's right. Nicolas Pepe obviously got sent off in the first half, but I kind of looked on that game and yeah, there was performances before that were worse. I think the Leicester game, you know, the 1-0, I thought we actually played pretty decent. I thought some of our attacking football was some of the best that we played all season. We just couldn't finish our chances. Aston Villa, yeah, we got absolutely battered by them, and you look back at the result now, and it was actually worse than it's worse now than what it was at the time because Aston Villa was on a high. They just beat Liverpool 7-2, you know, and I expected a tough game. I didn't expect us to get slapped the way we did, but I expected it to be a tough game. And the reason why it was Leeds that I turned Arteta out was because, like you just said, you know, we was constantly playing on the back foot, and I'm thinking, you know, it's all well and good doing it against the top six, but in games that you're expected to win against teams that you're expected to beat, Leeds being one of them, because let's not forget, Leeds play very good football, but they've only just come up from the Championship. We should be beating them every single time that we play them, you know, if we're a big club. And the way he had us set up in that game, the fact that we was on the back foot, and we was outplayed by them for 90 minutes, I just said, "Nah, that's it. Enough is enough." I know Pepe got sent off. I know it made it difficult because we had 10 men, but that's enough is enough. And it's like, you know, the guy had won us an FA Cup. We'd just come off the back of the high at the end of the season. I was expecting him to start the season a lot better than what he did, and it just didn't happen, you know. And it was disappointing to see. And then it just kind of fell apart from there, mate, to be honest with you, you know.
Yeah, because it fell apart. We had loss after loss after loss after loss after loss. Static. I'm going to go to some of the comments. The game away against Man United was beyond acceptable. Arsenal were pretty much playing for the draw until the penalty happened. Oba scored it, and then Arsenal just played defensive to win the game. Big up everyone, Hybrid TV. I sent you a message on. Go subscribe to him, and he's doing his. He's like me. I think he's doing his for charity as well. So go give him a subscribe now and help him grow his channel. And hopefully you can get you on here at some point, buddy, and we'll help you out. Big up everyone on the panel in the chat. Big up Miss Mel as always. And I'm going to move to, so for me, the North London Derby was the key game for me. Right, that was the one that I turned up because I was like, if you can't perform on a North London Derby and you play like that, you don't deserve to be Arsenal manager for me. That's where I turned. I don't know about anyone else, but that's where I turned Arteta out.
Well, I have to be honest. I can't be a hypocrite. I've never been Arteta in. That's the issue. From the day when I heard the rumor that he was going to be our manager, the first time before we employed Emery, I was in shock. Then when Emery got the job, I was so happy because it wasn't just Arteta. And then when I heard it the second time, I was like, no, these guys are joking. Are they seriously going to employ a manager that's never managed before in one of our biggest crises in our history when we need to rebuild the team? Surely that was the wrong time to try something risky as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But for me, that's where that performance, I wanted to give him the chance, you see. Right. I really wanted to give him the chance, but But yeah, it didn't turn out that way, and after that, I was Arteta out from then on, and it got worse and worse. I mean, you had defeats afterwards like that. Like, it got worse by all the such imagination. We lost 1-0 against Burnley, draw 1-0 against Southampton, lost 2-1 against Everton. Right, and it weren't until then we played Chelsea that we then finally won a game again. It looked, before that Chelsea game, it looked like, where was we going to get a win? We were looking at relegation form, and it was relegation form, and struggling to beat what should have been an easy, which should have been any one of those games we should have been winning. So, yeah, so. Yeah, so Arsenal finally turned it around against Chelsea. When Chelsea, to be fair, they played right into our hands. Lampard really played into Arteta's hands and Arsenal's hands. But then again, the only reason we sort of really capitalised on that is because Willian was out with I don't know what it was out for, but it meant that we had to play Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, and Lacazette up front, which from then on, from all that season onwards, you never saw it again, right? And I was already, and throughout that rest of that season, I used to be the same. Put Saka on the right, put Martinelli on the left, put Smith Rowe in the middle, put Lacazette up front. It works, and he never did it again. And I couldn't work it out why he never did it again. But that was one relief, one turning point. And what do you make from that result, Brandon? Do you remember that game? And what did you make of it?
The Chelsea game, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a comfortable victory, weren't it? It was kind of unexpected at the time because Chelsea were on a good run of form. We was awful. But I don't know. You can't use Chelsea as the yardstick because at the time they weren't much better than us, like in terms of their league position. You know what I mean? So it was always going to come at some point. We couldn't keep losing game after game after game after game. But when you lose fixtures that you should be winning, fixtures that should be a guaranteed 3 points, it's not good enough. And again, the way he set us up had to be questioned. The players and the way that they turned up in them games as well had to be questioned. You only have to look at how many red cards we had this season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? How many mistakes of individual errors cost us? Do you know what I mean? Like Granit Xhaka, for example, David Luiz, these type of players. And I don't know, mate. It's been a difficult season. That's the only way you can really describe it. It's just been a difficult season, and we've had to kind of put up and shut up. You got people that are consistently backing Arteta, which is fair enough. That's their opinion. But the question is when do you open your eyes and see what's really going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, when do you actually say, okay, enough's enough? I wanted the guy to succeed, but he's not doing it. He's not doing it. And
Yeah.
it will be interesting to see what happens in the summer, mate, because I tell you now, if he does not get it right and we have an awful start to the season again, he'll be gone before Christmas. Guarantee you that right now. And the biggest problem with that is if you sack Arteta, you then go back to square one with another manager. So that's why I say, why don't you just sack the guy now? Go and get a decent manager like an Antonio
season
Conte,
as well,
and then give him 3 years to do what he needs to do to the squad. If Antonio Conte comes in and he has an awful season like Arteta did, the one thing that we can say is he wins league titles. He's a winner. He has something to go by. Arteta, what can we say about him? He won an FA Cup. Who gives a shit? Arsenal have won 5 FA
Well, it's-
Cups
Yeah,
since 2006, 5, but we haven't done anything in the league. Does anybody actually care the fact that we won? Yeah, it's great to win an FA Cup, but would you have rather, been fighting for the league or win an FA Cup? I know which one I would rather.
fight for a
You know
league.
what I mean? And winning the FA Cups hasn't actually got us anywhere. You know what I mean? Arsene Wenger won
No, the
the
problem
FA
is
Cup.
it's kept our managers in jobs and actually papered over cracks.
Exactly, and that's the problem. So for me, you go out in the summer, you get Antonio Conte, and you say, look, you got 3 years to sort it out here at Arsenal. If you have another bad season, then you have another bad season, and we'll give you three. We'll give you 3 summer transfer windows to sort it out, because at least we can look at Antonio Conte and say, look, he's a winner.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been awful, but he's a winner. He will get it right eventually. We don't know if Arteta's going to get it right because he's never been a manager up until now.
Relentless. Just gonna come to you as soon as we get through. The point is, Arsenal won like three consecutive games, and then the teams just stopped playing like they already had enough of Arteta after 3 games. Terrible. Arteta threw Partey back on the when he walked off injured. What a fall! That was just before Tottenham scored It's scored to make it 2-0. The funny thing is, I'm really surprised Arsenal didn't lose 4 or 5-0 in the derby. Steven, yeah, no worries, mate. Arsenal were 16th before the win against Chelsea at home. Arteta fell out with everybody once a month this season. How is it possible for one person to have a fight with so many people? Sounds like a dictator. Anthony, big up yourself. With Arteta in charge, we can't finish above 8th. Yeah, and I want to, relentless. Quickly before we just quickly move on, because we've got to push on. The Tottenham game. No, the Chelsea game. Sorry, right, where he finally got a win and sort of turned it around a bit. Was that just the fact that we've got lucky that the fact William was out and he had to play Saka, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe?
Yeah, I think that was the start of the young kids. I think that was like one of the first games where I took to realize he has to trust in the youth, because if I think if William was fit, we probably would have lost that game because he probably would have played him. I think that's when he realized that the youth is the way to go forward, and he has to thank the youth because they're the reason why we had those points at the end of the season. Without the youth, we would have finished like 15th, 16th. So now that I think that game was like a big turning point in that season. Not like we went on to like win anything or something, but I think that's when he realized that I need to play some of these young players. I know, even though he hasn't really brought through anyone through the academy. The young players that were already there, he started to utilize them a bit more. So I think that was a really important game in the season.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move on to give me a second. I'm just gonna move on to fast forward a bit. I'm gonna move to the Benfica game. We got back to the Europa League. And we drew 1-1 in the first leg. The second leg, how did we get through? I will never know. People saying that was a great European night, right? I'm sorry. Whoever says that, you are fucking deluded. Absolutely deluded. I mean, Brandon, what did you make of that? I mean, I snapped. That second goal went in for Benfica. I snapped, right? And I didn't care what happened. But what did you make of that?
Lucky Arteta.
He's a very lucky boy, isn't he?
Lucky Arteta, mate. I mean, this guy, he must be the luckiest manager alive. I'm not even kidding you, because I think any other person, we would have gone out, to be honest with you. I think what did it for me was when that second goal went in, and then I saw William warming up.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously, you're bringing on a guy who has not scored all season, who's put in crap performance after crap performance after crap performance, and you're expecting him to turn this game on its head. Are you crazy? Like, are you actually looking to get sacked? Seriously. And that Benfica side, mate, was one of the worst Benfica sides I've ever seen. Ever. And we just didn't turn up, mate. You know, Danny Ceballos giving away goals that he did all season in the Europa League. Yet Arteta consistently played him, you know, and I don't know, mate. I think we deserved to go out at that round. I think that the alarm bells were ringing. I think we was quite lucky with the draw in a way because obviously we end up with Olympiacos next, which we kind of had to win that because you know we needed the revenge, you know, from the season before. I think if we'd have gone out with a whimper Olympiacos again, I think things would have been even worse. And then the fact that we ended up with Villarreal in the semi-final, you know, that was a kind draw to us. We should have beaten Villarreal over 2 legs. But again, we just didn't turn up. And that's the story of Arsenal under Mikel Arteta.
So I'll be on the post. It's going to be coming in a minute. That's going to be fun. Relentless. What did you? I mean, that car crash of a final. Of around the 16. Sorry.
When Ceballos headed that guy clean through on goal, man, I thought that was it. I thought that was it, man. I was ready to rage. I was ready to punch the air. I was ready to flip and tear my house apart. Listen, man, like how that guy got Odegaard and Aubameyang to save him that day, and Saka to save him that day. He has to be the luckiest manager in the world for that. We should have got knocked out by Benfica. Should have. And listen, like that was like one of the worst Benfica sides ever. Like that club was in turmoil. They were thinking about sacking the manager, and here we go, Santa Claus Arsenal, you know, giving them new life. You know what I mean? Like it's so annoying. But yeah, that was just another nail in the coffin for the club. You know, this season. You know, I know we got through, but it just goes to show you that we don't really deserve to even make it to the final. If we can't even get through a Benfica squad, this is not the Benfica squad of 2 years ago when they had Ruben Diaz and João Felix and all these other. And like, this is not the all singing or dancing Benfica squad. They got flipping Vertonghen and Otamendi at the back. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? So for me, that just showed me that this manager is tactically. He's not there. I mean, I already knew that, but it just proved my point even more. Like tactically, it's just there's no style of football. The style of football is inconsistent. Some days we're defensive, some days we're offensive. It's like, what type of football does Arteta really want to play? You know what I mean? And that game just proved to me and a lot of Arsenal fans that this guy, he really doesn't know what he's doing. And if it wasn't for Aubameyang and Saka that day, who saved him, he would have been out of Europe in the round of 16.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was actually one of the games, though you say about William coming on, he actually turned, maybe he actually put a performance in a little bit for once. And I know we finished 8th, but why there was only the players kept putting in mediocre performances week in, week out, making mistakes, losing their heads. Were you seriously only playing Arteta?
Let's not get into this, man.
Look, it's not just our. I mean, some of the mistakes were also players as well. But then, like, surely, like the amount of red cards we've had compared to other managers is quite ridiculous, and it gets to a point. Certain times you can see players lose their heads, right? But then it gets to a point when it's constantly happening. Like when you're going to start teaching them discipline, you're going to need to start coaching discipline into these lot, right? Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. So, Natish, welcome, mate. Yeah, we're just about onto the the Benfica game, which was just an absolute car crash, and yeah, so we're about to move on to probably the Liverpool game because that one really hurt for me. But yeah, what do you sum up this season in general? Just to sum it up briefly.
Poor start, uh, decent mid, great end in terms of Premier League. Europa League, good start, stable progress, but poor exit. Like the exit, I mean, I think we should have still done more in that Villarreal game. But at the end, if you've seen how Villarreal have beaten Manchester United as well, they were good. I did not want to get rid of Emery last season. I was always manager in, thinking that the manager deserves more time. Yes, there will be ups and downs with respect to even any kind of progress. Emery had a fifth season finish in the first one. Second season, he went to 14th, came back to 8th, and he was doing okay. He lost the Europa League game. The fans did not like him because of what was happening in the second season. The dressing room was kind of volatile to an extent as well. They did not respect him completely, but you would have never known until you let that season get over. But unfortunately, the fan base doesn't give a manager even say 2 seasons like Emery has. It's already shown Arteta first full season. I think the fan base needs to start giving managers a bit more time and respect.
I hear that, but then the problem is that when you've had such a shocking season as this, right? I'm sorry, but with some of the fans, they've tried. Most of the fans that I've seen have tried to be as patient as they can. But when you've seen some of the performances that have been put in, and some of the tactical displays that Arteta's put in, they can't accept they can't accept what's going on. They just can't accept it, and they're just saying they're not. It's not like they did like deserving. Like not. It's not probably disrespecting Arteta. It's just like look. You're not good enough, mate. You're not at that level yet. You need to be training somewhere else. If you want to be a
No,
manager,
that is,
you need
see,
to
a
be
lot of
training somewhere else. You
good.
should not be doing it in the third biggest club in the country. It's the third biggest
A
club in the
lot of
country. It's not
I
somewhere in
I
League One
understand
where
what
you
you're saying.
train that.
I understand what you're saying, but a lot of fans said the same thing about Emery as well. But if in his third season he probably ended up, or in the second season, last season, he ended up winning the Europa League, no one would be doubting him with respect to that he can do something more. We would be back in the Champions League. Everyone would be celebrating that fact rather than complaining about where we lost certain games in the season, whether we would have finished in the top 6 or 4 or not, or 6 or not. They would be focused on the Champions League that is coming up. What should be the focus of the club? Which players we want to buy, and all the positives that were happening around our Europa League win. The problem is because Emery was sacked in between, we would never know how that season would have ended. Now, the other thing with respect to Arteta, again, I said, looking back at Emery's example, the club wasn't going to sack him in between the season. So the best thing to do was to back him till the end of the season and then say that we want him sacked. Because again, if we sacked him like we did Emery, what did we do when we sacked Emery? We got in Freddie Limburg, did not give him a backroom staff. We lost a few more games. It was more embarrassing than actually Emery's run at the end. And then we got in Arteta. So the thing is, sacking a manager, if you are any other club, probably I can understand who has a game plan. With respect to Arsenal, I would never sack a manager in between a season because the decision makers make worse decisions at certain points of time. And the best example was the Emery sacking in itself. I was saying, even to the fans who were Emery out at that point of time, I don't mind if he's let go of at the end of the season. But sacking him now, when there is no real big manager linked to Arsenal, it's going to be a big mistake because it's going to take us even further down.
Yeah, just gonna go for some more comments first. Not unless you pick the same player, you know that keeps making mistakes. But I mean, Xhaka, yes, that's it. That is a point. One mistake, as far as I recall, he's made several mistakes, and was unacceptable. Arteta could have made things a lot easier himself by strongest team every week. Right. So, yeah, I hear that. The problem is, right, Henry's football was getting dire. It was getting really. It was the second season, right after the Crystal Palace draw. It was shit. It was poor, right? And we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't getting any sort of momentum, any or win on the cards, anything like that. And it's exactly the same as what Arteta was doing this season. It was just like poor beyond belief, and throughout the season, it's just been the same thing. It's just been boring, horrible. But Bargav, I mean, like, I'm gonna throw this out there now because, right, if you say the end of the season, let's say ask you to be sacked, we've now got Conte who's just left Inter Milan. Why can't I get him?
Because he's a short-term manager, a defensive manager. He's not going to stay at your club for more than maybe say 2 or 3 years at the most. If he's not given money, he will anyways leave, like he's leaving Inter Milan this season after winning the league. Imagine that. Would any manager leave? Yes, Conte would.
I do manager.
No, the reason why we're not
Can I-
infamous
can I
because
answer?
the
Go ahead.
board don't the board they don't what's the word I'm looking for? The
Not
ambition of the
ambitious.
board isn't that high. That's what it is.
The
It's
thing
not
is,
because
I
he's not
think
going to
if I
stay here
gave,
for.
we got enough money in reserves to give him money anyway. But if we did, right, and got Conte in, he'd get that team in top 4 straight away. Right?
Yeah, can
he
I
got
just-
a team that was not even the best team in the league to win the bloody league. I mean, come on.
Emery won
Yeah,
the
can I
Europa
just-
League with Villarreal. He couldn't do it with Arsenal.
Yeah, can I just
but
say
the
two
Conte
things?
managed could do it in Milan. Go on, say, go on.
Yeah, first of all, just very short on Emery comparison. I think, yes, Emery has won the Europa League with every team except Arsenal. But let's not forget that we lost to a very good Chelsea team. It's not like we lost to a Villarreal like we did in the semi-finals, for example. And what I don't see anything wrong with a short-term
Can I-
manager as long as he can give you trophies. I don't mind Conte coming in within 3 years' time. He wins us the league and then he goes. I don't have a problem with that at all. And regarding that, he's a
Well-
defensive manager. He scored the most goals in Serie A. What's that based on?
Yeah.
He's a very tactical manager.
He's also.
I agree.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the things he can. He can change it and actually make it work. That's the thing as well. And before we go into that, because that's another topic in itself, I want to try and rate the players beforehand. And I want to do this very quickly. So we're going to do this as quickly as we can. So just a very quick explanation. And then go on to the next player. So, by the way, Arteta should be sacked. So, Arteta stays in his sackable level. There's no arguments. We're going to start with Leno, and I'm going to go to Bargav with Leno.
What's 4? Go up real quick.
4.
I'm gonna say very poor.
Very poor. Okay. Okay.
How many good games do you think he had this year?
He's had a fair few games, but he's
To
made
be honest,
mistakes.
Wolves red card.
with Leno, you know what the weird thing is? At the beginning of the season, probably up until December, he was probably our most stable player. And I was like, oh, he started to catch the balls in the air. He distributed fast. But then after that, something just happened to him. And he was just doing mistake after mistake.
Okay. Matthew, I'm going to give it to Saeed.
I think this it's hard because how many games has he played?
A
5?
couple of games, but he did.
But he's been good. He's been good in the games he's played.
Good
So
distribution as well.
I'd say good. What's good?
7. I'd say 6 though.
I did 6. Yeah, 6.
You know what the funny stat is? Leno played around 30 odd games last season. He had 7 clean sheets. He has 11 this season. Now, because I have a lot of Arteta out fans here, do you think our defense has improved, or do you think Leno has still done his job?
As I said, I think he started the season very good. I think I made that very clear. But he's done a lot of mistakes, and that's the problem.
He had 3 or 4 bad games. A run of 3 or 4
No.
bad games.
I think you're being very nice to say that he's had 3 or 4 bad games.
See, two of the things that you can directly blame him for is that stupid red card at Wolves and the Everton own goal. But apart from that, he has had a poor run of 3 to 4 games.
That's your opinion. I disagree.
Anyway, let's go to Runnison, and I'm going to give it to. I'm going to go to Relentless.
He played 2 games.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
We just put him sell immediately. Can we just?
Are you sure you want me to rate him, bro? I'll go in on him.
No, let's just put him in sell immediately 0. Okay.
All right.
If you want, yeah. Callum Chambers, I'm going to go to Tish.
Can we do this only for people that have played at least 3 to 5 games?
I think more or less the other players will anyways go away.
Yeah,
go on.
I think I would give him a 6 for his performances.
Okay.
He's not played a lot, but when he's played, he just looks stable.
Yeah, that's fine. Bang average.
I'm gonna go. There's no one else on this start, is there? No. Hang on. There's someone else in the background here. Taicho, how are you, mate? Welcome to the channel. And yeah, I wanted you to rate. I'll give you Cedric. So I wanted to go.
Cedric, I'd give him a 6, 7 maybe. When he's played, he's been consistently good.
Okay. Bellerin, 0.
I thought you were giving him a 10.
Fuck that. No. Go plant your tree somewhere else.
All right, let's just. I feel like Saka and Pepe are the only people getting like good marks on this, and then everybody else is bang average.
David Luiz. We're gonna go to who
7.
went first?
Sorry,
it's me.
Who went first?
You.
No.
Brandon,
didn't he?
Yeah,
Brandon had it too.
No, he didn't have a say.
Shit, sorry, man. Go on, Brandon. You get David Luiz.
David Luiz. A 6.
Okay.
I'm going to give him. I think apart from the one mistake that he made, getting sent off, which I don't think was a sending off anyway. I think he's actually been our best centre back, to be fair.
Okay.
And that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Pablo Marie, I'm going to go to Saeed.
Marie's, I'll give him a 5.
Okay.
I think if he had played more games, I would probably have given him a higher, but he hasn't played enough to be a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
But he's looked solid in many games. I'll say that.
Gabriel, I'm going to give to Bargav. Bargav,
you're on mute.
I'm gonna say good, actually.
Good.
I mean, he fell off at the end of the year, but for the first half of the season, he was actually he kind of picked himself in the team, and then he fell off, which was expected. First season too.
I'm going to give Holding to Relentless.
Wait, can you scroll up so I can see the category?
There's no point.
6 is yeah. 6, I'll put him in bang average. I think he's been bang average this season.
Honestly, I feel Pablo Mari and Gabriel were better than David Luiz and Holding.
Better than David Luiz.
Yeah.
Nah, I think
Every
David
time,
Luiz has
every
been
time David
good
Luiz played
this
this season,
season.
he's been fine.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
when he
he's
played
been
with
fine,
Gabriel.
but no, the thing is that most of his best qualities are that he's a leader and he leads the line. But the thing is,
Right.
with respect to overall play, I think Pablo Mari has looked much more stable than David Luiz.
You know, has been one of our most creative
I hear what you're
players.
saying.
Just to say
Problem
that.
Yeah.
is Xhaka the player leads Arsenal? No.
You remember that
Right.
brilliant header
hang
from
on.
Gabriel
Hang
when
on,
he
let me just read.
moved
Let me just read.
towards the back? Sorry.
Let me just read these comments. Stephen, it's pretty obvious where Runson should be. I think Chambers should be above average. Good ratings, boys. Nitish, I'm gonna give you Partey because I want to do Tierney. He's my guy. He's my guy.
Partey, I'm not as disappointed as some of the Arsenal fans are because he was injured in between. He was
Yeah, I
not fully
wonder
fit when
why.
he came to us. That's not because of Arteta. He had an injury last season as well. So the thing is,
when he came.
I would also give him bang average. I'm not giving anything less than that. And I think he's finally gotten a bit used to the Premier League space
That's
towards
a
the
bit
end of the
much.
season.
That's a bit much. I would say okay.
Yeah, anywhere between 5 and 6. Maybe a 5.5 is actually
I would say
apt
a
for him.
5. It's been okay. It should be better. To be honest.
Am I hard to say that I think that Partey has been poor? I think, except the last few 5-6 games,
Yeah.
I've been so disappointed at him.
No, but we have also known this
Especially
for
in
a
the
fact.
Europa League games, he was awful.
We have known
Yeah.
this for a fact that he was not playing with full fitness as well this season. A lot
Yeah,
of
but we
games.
have to judge him after what he does on the field. If the manager picks him, that's what I judge him for. But anyway, he's not my player.
Taicho, then Brandon. So Brandon, Taicho, El Neni.
I'd put him in okay. Well, maybe okay or poor.
Okay.
He's scored good goals, and against United he was good, but the rest of the season not really stand out.
Yeah, he's not that class of player. He's one of those that we just need to get rid of. Brandon, Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka, mate.
I know where Steven wants to put him.
4, 5.
I'll give you a clue. Oh wow, you're being very generous.
I don't actually think he's been that bad this season. I think there has been times where he's been shockingly poor.
Yeah, I'd say 4.
But he hasn't been a liability.
He hasn't. Yeah, he's been more consistent in his performances this season. But when you're playing in a squad that's just crap, it's easy to look not crap, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just think he's been consistently average. Consistently
if you're giving
average.
if you're giving Elneny and Partey a 5, Xhaka has been better than them. So, anyways,
no, that's not that. Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney. I think yes, he's had his injuries, but he's been very, very good out of the season. Solid. He's had 1 or 2 bad games, but mostly solid for me.
Oh, you gave him an 8.
Really good,
I was going to give him a
I'll
7.
give it an 8.
yeah, 7 looks fine with Gabriel.
Yeah, I don't think he's been an 8. He had a couple of months where he wasn't playing very well. And then the thing is with Tierney is that when he's injury free, he's probably always a 7 and 8. But it takes him 5-6 games to get there. And I think that's been the issues. He's had a knocks and that he's
Yeah,
looked a
I
bit
do
shady.
feel though that will come with time. I just think he's been very good. Out of everyone,
Because we
he's been very
finished
good.
8th, I don't know.
Because he's just been. Look, if we're putting everyone in that bucket there, I feel he needs to be higher because he's been above a lot of them players.
No, I think he's been at the same level as Gabriel. Gabriel has
no, he hasn't been.
Very good start to the season.
Tierney's been better.
The only reason Gabriel got dropped from the team is because he got COVID.
Yeah.
No. Tierney's been better. Tierney's been better. I got to admit, Tierney's been better. Like you can tell when we've missed him. That's as well. So Anyway, we're gonna go back to Saeed, and we're gonna go to Odegaard.
I think Odegaard, I'll give him a 5, and the reason is this. I think if you look at the fact that he came in mid-season, he had barely played any games. Then, when he was playing well, he was good. Then he got injured, and then after that, he was struggling until maybe the last 2 games. I think okay is fair. New league as well, new system, poor team.
I'll just add one thing with respect to Odegaard. The Arsenal fans need to also watch the pass before the assist. I know it's not a stat that gets counted a lot, but the likes of Ozil used to do it a lot. The likes of Odegaard I've seen do it a lot. No, I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing. Don't make stupid assumptions. Don't make stupid assumptions. I'm not comparing them. I'm saying there is a thing called as a pre-assist. You need to first hear out before you start making assumptions. The thing is
that a stat that the Ozil teens came up with?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's not about Ozil teens.
When I was watching the Invincible, I never heard about pre-assist.
No, there is a thing called pre-assist, but it's not.
It's not called pre-assist. It's called a key pass. That's what it's called.
Key pass.
No, the pass before the assist is called a pre-assist. But anyways, that is not an official stat. But Odegaard has those passes that he plays. So the thing is that if you're rating him based on those passes, I think his rating will be a bit higher. And the fact that he's come into a club on a loan deal, and he's been one of the reasons also why we have improved our play in the second half of the season. Apart from Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka, obviously, yeah, he has been better. I'm not saying he's not been better, but Odegaard is more of a creative player than a goal scorer. So that has been visible as well.
Well, I think with Odegaard, anyway, 2 goals, 1 assist.
We got.
Can I rate Pepe?
We got to quickly.
Can I rate Pepe?
You're all right. Say. Did I do say it? Didn't I?
Yeah, I just did.
You just there. So you want to do? So I'm going to give Type Show. What do you know? I'll go. I'll go. We'll get Pepe out of the way. Go on, let's go, Pepe.
My guy, Pepe Dino, bro. I'm telling you,
God.
The Ivorian Messi, bro. West African Messi. Listen, this
guy. I hope not too much.
No, easy. You see, I would take Tandy and put him in 7, and take Pepe and put him in 8 or 9.
I'd say 9.
You put him in 9.
Nah, he can't be a 9.
You're serious?
I put him in 8.
Nobody has been a 9 this season.
I put him in 8. He's one of our players of the season, in my opinion. This guy has been. This guy has been facing adversity ever since he stepped foot in this country. What does he do? 10 goals in the league, 16 goals all competitions. 5-7 assists? Mm-hmm. This guy was literally carrying this club for the past 6 to 10 games. Listen, what else does he need to do to earn respect from this manager, bro? This manager needs to play him. He needs to play him just like he plays Aubameyang when he's stinking out the place. He needs to play Pepe, bro. Pepe is the future of this football club, man. I'm telling you. Keep faith in him, and he show up, man.
Okay.
Nobody's asking to sell him, but the guy has 10 goals in the Premier League season with 1 assist, and 5 of his goals have come in the last 4 games of the season. Once the season is dead, that is when he started scoring and showing up. You want this guy to be player of the season? You're seriously joking. He scored. Hold on. He scored most of his goals against Molde and Dundalk in the Europa League. That is where
those were the games he was playing.
Your manager.
No, he played against Villarreal.
Your manager.
Well, William played against Molde as well, and he
played the first 10 games of the season as a substitute, out of which 1 game he missed, which was the Manchester United one, where he was not utilized. Apart from that,
your manager played William.
Every damn game he's been playing as a substitute. He's not done anything to impress. Then he came out with
because he's coming on as a substitute.
Hold on, he came out with a statement that the manager doesn't play me. Manager brings him in, starts him against Leeds. He gets himself sent off. 3 more games he's gone. 14 games done there. 1 goal he had against Sheffield. Go and check the numbers. Go and check the numbers.
One player. The whole team's been dead all season. You're taking
Look
No,
how
I'm
many
telling
minutes.
you.
Look how many minutes he's playing in the
Come
Premier
on,
League.
man.
Nitish, look at how many minutes he's playing in the Premier League.
Gareth Bale is better than Pepe. He's had half the minutes as Pepe, almost half the minutes, and scored more goals than
What's
assists.
this a Pepe agenda? What's going on? I'm just saying he had a good
You
season. I'm
are
getting
you
what's
are
going on,
gassed
bro.
over Pepe. You are so gassed over Pepe. I don't know. You're
You're
a Pepe
gassed. You're
fanboy.
gassed over a manager
You're a
who has
Pepe
a
fanboy.
49%.
You're a
Bro,
Pepe
you're
fanboy. Pepe fanboy.
Nitish, you're gassed over a manager who has one of the worst win percentages in our history. You're gassed over a manager who has one of the worst win percentages in our history. And we've been a club for almost 200 flipping years.
I'm
So,
not gassed
listen.
over him. I'm saying he needs more time, like Emery did. The same thing I said about
Based
Emery.
on what?
You are gassed
To
over a
make us
player who
worse.
can't. You are gassed over a player who has performance issues. He can't step up in big
hang
games.
on, we can't pick
You're
out.
gassed.
He was the
you're
worst
gassed
player.
over-
He was the
you're
worst
gassed over
player
a
against
manager.
Villarreal.
You're gassed over
wait,
a manager
hang on,
who's
hang
one of
on.
our worst managers in terms of
Mute
wins.
everyone. Right, hang on. You can't pick out one player, right, when the whole team this season, when we've needed them to perform, have been shit, right? All of them, every single one. So you can't just pick up one player. I'm sorry, you can't do it because everyone's been poor. Everyone started performing when the pressure was off and there was nothing left. Sorry.
No, there have been players like Lacazette, Saka, who have been playing through the season. Emil Smith Rowe, these guys have been playing through the season. Pepe is a joke.
The majority of them have not.
Bro, he's one of our top scorers, and the first half of the season he wasn't even playing. What else
He
does he
wouldn't
need
even
to
be
do?
our top scorer if not for those last 4 games.
What about Lacazette?
What are you talking
about? Aubameyang.
He got 5 goals in 4 games in the last 4 games.
Aubameyang's the goal scorer. He's the captain. He's supposed to be banging him. He's supposed to be doing over 20.
Bro, Nitish, it sounds like you're criticizing Pepe for being good. You're saying, oh, he got all these goals because he scored all these goals back in the part of the season. Isn't that a good thing?
I am criticizing Pepe because he only showed up even last season when the season was done. He showed up this season when the season is done. And fans like you are gassing him up and are over-exaggerating his performances, calling him one of the contenders for Player of the Year when he's absolute shit.
But hang on,
yes, he is one of the players of the year. He's one of our top goal scorers, and he was putting in performance.
Wait, we know Pepe is a confidence player. When you play in 3 games and then fucking drop him, right? His confidence is then on the floor again, and it starts in a.
Bro, he's got Arteta as his manager. Right? What do you want him to do, bro?
You can't just keep dropping and playing, drop and play, and then not play because it doesn't work, right? And he ends up like no wonder he doesn't end up performing because once he got a run of games towards the end of the season, look what happened. He started playing. Every time he started playing, he then dropped him.
He wasn't. That is what I'm saying.
Nitish, look at the minutes he's played. Look at the games he started. Don't look at how many appearances. No, that's not how you look at stats. Look at the games that he started and the goals he scored.
Yeah, he started 17 games this season. He started 17 games this season.
Can I just say something regarding Pepe?
Exactly.
Let's have the facts right. Yeah, Nicolas Pepe. His first game that he ever started was against Man City.
Yeah.
He was benched on the first 4 games. He came in against Sheffield United and he scored. And then he was benched.
Yeah,
he was playing in the Europa
against Leicester.
He won that game for us.
He didn't play a minute against United.
Yep.
He got 25 minutes against Villa. And then he gets the red card against Leeds. All right? After the red card, he got back. He played 85 minutes against Southampton. Then he scored against Everton. And after he scored, he was benched again for another 4 games. And
no, you are missing the point. He was playing in the Europa League in every game. He was playing in the Europa League for every game.
Yeah, but he was scoring.
He scored the most. He scored the most goals in the Europa League for us.
The one game that you're talking.
Finish my point. I didn't interrupt you. Can I just finish my point?
Yeah, go on.
Because I'm making a statement here. And then he scored again against Southampton, and then he was benched again, and then he scored against Wolves. And then he got 90 minutes against Villa, and then he was benched again. And that's the problem. He scores, and then he gets benched. And then people complain that he doesn't perform consistently. But he
Okay,
hasn't been playing consistently.
Okay, I'll ask you
Willian
one
was
question.
playing in the Europa League against.
Okay, I'll ask you one question. Are you right now on transfer market reading these numbers out? Go above, and there will be a Europa League section as well. Every time that he has played in the Premier League, he played in the Europa League. He played 2 or 3 continuous games, and then he was given a rest. Every player gets that rest. That is why he was benched. That is it. If Gareth Bale was dropped by Mourinho, the guy can't stop scoring for Tottenham. If you are comparing Pepe and you're saying he's one of the best players of the season, you need to look at what is happening around the league. This guy has no stats and numbers to show. The only reason he's the top scorer is because he stepped up in the last 4 games, out of which he didn't play 1. In the last 3 games, he has 5 goals. Otherwise, his stats would read as 5 goals and 1 assist in the Premier League season in 30-odd appearances.
I'm talking about just Arsenal.
So you're criticizing him for scoring goals, basically.
No, I'm not criticizing him. I'm not gassing him up like you guys are.
And by the way, when he came on for 25 minutes, yeah.
I still don't understand the point, but it's all right.
Yeah, we were 2-0 down by that point.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do anything anyway.
So Natish is basically saying that towards the end of the season, he scored 4 goals in 2 games.
No, I don't care what everyone has an opinion on Pepe, right? I'm just saying here, you can't have a go at one player when the entire team has been shit.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about him not being anywhere near a contender for player of the season.
No, we're not talking about player of the season. We're talking about player for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm not
for Arsenal player of the season. No, I'm saying people are gassing him up.
No, he's been one of our better players. That's the end of it.
He's been one of my better players this season. What's so hard to? I don't. What's going on?
The 3 players who are top contenders for player of the season are Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, and Lacazette. Pepe is nowhere close to them.
No, get it. No, Natish, I'm not having this, bro. Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yes, he has the same goals as Pepe in 2021. Yes, he has. Look at the distribution. Look at the times he scored. Look at the in 2000. Yes, this year.
You do know the season. You do know the season started in 2020, right, Natish?
Yeah, because fans like you who are gassing him up will say he didn't get enough time in the first half. Pepe has 1 goal in those 10 games that he came on as a substitute. 1 goal in the Premier League in 10 games.
Keyword substitute.
Yeah, he was. I'm not denying that.
He was. Time as he put as a substitute, he got about 50 minutes left.
Look at Joe Willock.
Okay. So Natish, let me understand. Let me ask you a question. What's the problem? What's like the why am I getting like a not backlash, but why is there a disagreement on why he's been one of our players this season? Because if you look at the numbers, he's up there player of the season. If you look at the performances, he's up there player of the season. If you look at the quality goals he's been scoring, he's a contender for player of the season. I don't understand what the issue is.
Saka has been awful in the last few months compared to Pepe.
Bro, he's been flipping rubbish, bro.
Not last few games, months.
It's because it's fashionable, bro. That's why.
No, Saka has been bad for like maybe 1 month or so. But the problem with Saka is that he has been carrying the team right through the remaining season. Pepe has stepped up in the for whom? I'm not saying about Saka. I'm not relying on stats. I'm saying overall.
But I remember the last time I tried to use stats, I was told not to use them. They're not reliable.
So I am not relying on stats. I'm telling you where Pepe has scored the goals. You guys are relying on stats that he has the second highest goals for our team. 5 out of which have come in the last 4 games.
And he's only scored 1 goal in 10 games.
So that is a fact. So if your player is not scoring a single goal or 1 single goal out of 10 games where he's been given a substitute appearance,
if he's starting one of our top 5 scorers, you can't keep marking him as a bad player. I'm sorry.
Where have the goals?
You know what? Just give him an 8. We're one of our best players to see. Just give him an 8 and let's just move on.
Where have the goals come from?
It came from the sky, Natish. It came from the sky, Natish.
He scored against Mold. He scored against Dundalk.
Oh my life,
bro, Natish. If you're coming off the bench against flipping Cardiff City under 23s, of course you're going to score against them because that's the only time you're playing.
Maybe if Arteta actually playing in a bigger game, then maybe actually we'll see.
No, he had 17 starts in the Premier League this season. That is what I was telling you. Now Said was reading out the numbers.
He starts in the Premier League. He's got 10 goals. That's pretty good record, actually.
No, that is 1 assist and 10 goals in 17, and out of which, as I said again, that you're not counting. Okay, even if you're not counting the substitute appearances at all, but the thing is, the 5 goals have come in the last 4 games of the season when the season is
that's
already
good.
dead.
That's good. That's good.
How is that
not
good? A guy
stat?
scoring 2 against Crystal Palace, a guy scoring 2
You're
against
saying the last
Brighton.
second half of the season has been an
Okay, so
improvement.
so
No,
he shouldn't
last
score.
4 games.
He shouldn't score, and then we should lose the game.
No,
you
I'm not
should be
saying
happy
he
with
shouldn't
that.
score.
That's
No,
improvement,
I'm not
innit?
saying he shouldn't
That's
score. I'm not saying he
progress.
shouldn't score. I'm saying you shouldn't gas him up for that.
But you should be gassing him
Bro,
up.
then so we shouldn't gas him up then.
He's proving to you
Yeah, you
that
shouldn't be
Arteta's
gassing him up.
progressing. But you
Then what should he do?
Hang on, what's
Should
he
he turn
doing in the
into
last few
Messi?
months? He's proving that Arteta's progressing as a manager.
We have been winning games since December. So last 4 games, that is
Since
just part
December,
of that.
yeah. And all those
Surely
games
you'd
we
be
won took us
praising
to
him
the
then, shouldn't
semi-final.
you?
We got
Because
battered.
he's
So that's
backing your point that Arteta is progressing as a manager.
Yeah, so how does him being player of the season, a contender for player of the season, have to do
Oh my
anything
God.
with Arteta progressing?
I didn't say he's player of the season. I didn't say
No,
that.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you did. No,
just
no,
said
he's not a
one of our
contender. That
be-
is what I'm saying.
No, I just said
he's
one
top
of our better players this
top 3 of our best players. Top 3.
Emil Smith Rowe
100% he's
any
our top
day
3.
more than better than Pepe. His contributions have been in big games and times when we have needed goals. Pepe has scored towards the back end in 4 games, which are irrelevant.
I think he's
I'm
been
not saying he
inconsistent
shouldn't
with
be
each other.
scoring, but his numbers are looking decent because he scored at that point of time when the season was already dead. Smith Rowe has contributed goals and assists when it mattered.
Move on.
So he's using his goals against him basically.
We're just not gonna agree on this. Move on. Right. Sorry. It's like that. Unfortunately, Brandon had to go, so I do apologize for that. We're gonna go to Taicho, and we're gonna go to Smith Rowe.
I give Smith Rowe a 9 and maybe an 8, 9.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He's the time he's played from that Chelsea game until the last game of the season against Brighton, he was consistently great, and he hasn't played before the Chelsea game, I think. So that's it does kind of hinder his rating, but the time he has played, he's been good.
Okay. Ceballos, I'm gonna give him a fucking 0.
Agreed.
Diabolical. Get out of my club. Should have left him in Villarreal.
Oh no, the Brazilian makeup brush. Oh Jesus Christ! Here we go.
Oh God. Relentless Willian. Should we just put him?
Shit. I'll actually think about this and try to be fair. I'll give him extremely. I'll give him extremely poor.
Oh, you're too generous.
Extremely poor means your shit though.
Natish, Bukayo Saka.
I think because of his performances towards the end of the season, I would probably give him
8.
Yeah, somewhere 7.5 actually, but yeah, he can trend towards an 8. But again,
Really?
I feel
I think he's my player of my season.
No, Lacazette
So basically,
is
Smith Rowe has been.
I think
he's been at the equal. I think both Smith Rowe and Saka have been at 7.5. So, but because there is an 8 only, so we can go for 8 because both of them have been equally good. Smith Rowe towards the end a bit more. Saka towards the start of the season and through the mid.
In a minute.
It's a 9. Oh, okay, so then he's equivalent to Smith Rowe. Both of them are at the same level for me.
I feel Saka's been a standout player this season.
You guys are generous, you know.
Nelson.
Shout out Reece Nelson, bro. Shout out Reece Nelson.
Yeah,
free Reece Nelson.
Enough games. Eddie Nketiah.
You can put him with Dani Ceballos, probably.
I'll put him in 3.
3.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
One sec. You put Leno and Nketiah in the same bracket?
Seriously? Yeah, what's Leno doing over there? Leno's rubbish, but he ain't that bad. Jesus Christ.
I have no idea. That is why I was saying.
Right. Aubameyang.
Aubameyang can go with Eddie.
Put him in 2.
Yeah.
Willian and Aubameyang.
And 8
9.
seems fair. 8 or 9. It edges 8. It's 50-50 really for me.
Put him in 8. He has to be. I mean, 9. He has to
8,
be in
okay,
9,
man.
in my opinion.
Huh.
Gabby Martinelli, my boy.
Gabriel
Come
Martinelli.
on.
Now, this is controversial because he would have been up here if it was playing every week.
I think a
For
6 or a
the-
7 is
For
Well,
what he was playing, I'll give him a 7.
He would have been up with a 9 if the manager let him play. I'm telling
Yeah, but the
you.
manager don't rate him anyway, so he's never gonna play.
Anyway, those are play ratings for the season. Let me know if you disagree or agree or not. Still got 10 people watching. Big up everyone that is watching
So-
at the minute.
So who's your players of the season?
Saka. Smart player.
Mine
of
is
the season.
Lacazette. The rest of the guys?
Lacazette.
Relentless.
It's either Lacazette or Pepe.
Okay. Got Saeed back. How are you, my friend? Still back. Where is Pepe in rankings of the wingers? Bruno has not been rested a lot. Why? That is why it's so consistent. Letish,
Bruno has been
the
rested.
website,
Bruno's
not
played a lot of games
one
this season.
particular website. Pepe played less minutes,
Oh,
but
not
still
been
contributed
rested.
to Arsenal. Saka
And
has
for
been
me,
awful in the last few months compared to Pepe. Sorry, I disagree. I see with my eyes. Saka has been awful.
Just pull that comment about the website. Hold on. Just pull the comment up about the website. I want to say one thing. The stats of the season are same on every website. No website
Yeah.
makes up the stats of the season. They are facts. They're not opinions. And the one about the Bale thing, Bale has had half the minutes of Pep. He scored.
That's
I
not
think
important, man.
it is. It is.
You sit there all
no, but
day
you
watching
can't. I
stats.
think.
mean,
Listen.
I just watch
If
the
we're
game
gonna
and
compare
just fucking see
stats,
I watch the game. I
Yeah.
see. do you know what I
Let's
do?
save that for another day.
I
Let's save
watch
that.
the game. I see the normal stats that you see, like possession and everything else, and then that is it. I can't fucking ask for any other stats. Someone else will come
Well,
up with stat of he scored
Nah,
so many
man.
goals
Nah,
in
you,
this
nah.
see, I'm not a stat merchant.
Fine.
See, if you look
I
at stats,
I can't sit there all day looking at stats to try and pick what if players are
If
playing
you-
like shit or not.
if
I can't.
if you look at stats, you would think Bruno Fernandes is the best thing to happen in football since sliced bread. You understand?
yeah,
But it's not.
yeah.
No, but I
100%.
can't. I
Yes.
can't sit there all day
100%.
looking at stats all day. I can't.
No,
do
you
it.
need to understand what stats I'm mentioning are only the fact that
I don't even know what
Pepe
stats
guys
sometimes.
gassing up to Pepe are saying that he's not been played. He's played, but not as a starter initially.
Oh.
That is what I was saying. Apart from the
Yeah,
two
but-
games.
No,
Yeah, and
I
that's
see
that's
what I
that's
see.
our
That's
I
problem.
see
literally the
what I
point I was
see,
saying.
and I
That was
see
literally
what
That's the
is
main problem.
what I
He
see.
should
You
have
see,
point.
hang on. I'm just gonna say this, and that's the end of it, right? I see what I see, and what I see is Pepe. Every time he tries and gets on the pitch and plays, and gets to a certain level where he's starting to play well and actually contributing a lot
Then he
to
gets
Arsenal, he then gets dropped. Right, and the last 4 or 5 games when the pressure's off, right, Arteta doesn't probably need the Phil to drop him, so he's just played every week, and then he's now. Then that's why now he's been playing so well towards the end. That's how it looks to me. So that's the end. That's the end for me, and that's the only thing I'm saying on it. That's the only thing I say. All right, the only 2 stats I care about are who wins a game and who wins trophies. That's exactly what I care about.
That's a great
That's
great
exactly what I
statement,
care.
honestly.
Right,
And
best statement of all.
that's it.
Golden
I
Boot
think
is nice for
I
a player
think
to win,
Pepe.
but if the team doesn't win a major trophy, who really cares? I hear what
Yeah,
you're saying,
100%.
I looked at the statistics and it's facts, but I cannot solely on those 2 contributors. That's why I look at my eyes. But yeah, final statement next season.
Did you rate Arteta?
Yeah, we put him in a sackable level.
Oh,
He's permanently there.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Anyway,
100%.
right. Yeah. Bargav, what do you expect? What do you should you what do you expect next season? And what would you want to expect from next season? What's your expectations?
An actual place, like as in, if I was betting $1 million on this happening next year, is that what you're talking about?
No, just like give us a sort of what's your expectations for the next season? What do you expect? What do you want Arteta to aim for? What's your limit, minimum?
For me, it's for a club like us, it's simple. Yeah, you have to be in the hunt for you have to be in hunt for the Premier League next year, especially with only one game.
Oh come
a
on, we're
week.
not getting 100 Premier League. Let's be
But
realistic.
you're asking me what the expectation should
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Here.
Let's listen.
Yeah,
to
what it
his-
should be, but I want it should be. But
But if I were to bet money on what's going to happen next year, I would. I'm expecting.
What was that?
6, 7, 8. I'm gonna say 8th place next year. There's 7 teams ahead of us.
So
Yeah, for me, I was gonna say 8, but then I remembered that we are not playing in Europe, so we are basically gonna have a lot more time. I think we will finish 6th, 7th. I don't see us finishing higher than that. I don't think we're gonna win any trophies, and I think the manager will be sacked by the end of the year.
No, that'll be a fucking blessing. Tight Joe.
So what was the question?
Like what would you want from next season? What you expect?
At least I hope European football at least top 6. I think we could get with
You mean by that? You mean Europa League and the Champions League?
Yeah, just European football in general.
Not even the conference.
Even the conference,
No, not the conference. no.
Yeah, that was
Not
the
the conference. No, but with 2 good summer windows in the summer transfer window in January, I think we definitely could finish top 6. And well, the manager debate is arguable because who knows who we're gonna get. If you get someone like Per Mertesacker, we're not gonna finish top 8. It depends on the manager really also.
Yeah, and say and then Nitish, sorry.
With respect to me, it's going to be between 5 to 8, because at the end of the day, there is going to be the Euros that is happening. If any of our players are going there, the next thing is AFCON will be in between the season, in mid of the season, where again Thomas Partey and a few other players will be probably going. Nicola Pepe will also be probably going. So I don't mind anywhere between 5 to 8, and it all depends again on the kind of signings that are coming in. We need to have a balance there with the Euros happening, with AFCON happening, and then the World Cup happening as well. So all those tournaments need to be considered. I think one of the other reasons why, like you guys are saying, Arteta needs to be sacked. He's not going to be sacked is because the club knows already that this is a phase where there is no point in getting in a new manager, because there is going to be a lot of mix and match with players going away. I think even El Neni will be gone if he's not sold. Granit Xhaka, Euros. Who else? There are a lot of players. So let me not just keep counting them. But again, it's going to be that kind of a season where we should finish anywhere between 5th and 8th.
This is lovely. The season hasn't started yet. It's already defense for.
Yeah, but this is the normally
I don't understand.
Normally, I think we're more hopeful.
Every team is gonna have players in the Euros. The teams that are better than us is probably gonna have more teams in the Euros than we have. I mean, it's the same for all. I think if anything, this year we can be thankful that we are not playing European football, and therefore he has to perform.
The last time there was a World Cup coming up, Leicester City won the league because all big teams dropped down because their players were more focused on the upcoming World Cup than. No, it was the World Cup was next season.
But the Euros is this season. So what's your point? I don't understand.
At the end of the season, it was Euros.
Euros, not the World Cup. Euros.
But I will tell you,
they didn't win because of that.
We're not doing a Leicester, man.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying big teams have a lot of players that go into these international tournaments. They won't be getting enough time to rest and come back. Like it will be an instant switch from the Premier League to the Euros to again the Premier League, then the World Cup. So and including AFCON in between. So it's going to be tough on the big teams, especially who have players playing in these international tournaments. That will be a major factor as well.
There's a major tournament every 2 years, and still big teams manage to win. Leicester won once. That's happened once in history. Like, come on.
I would say this is the.
I don't understand these excuses.
No,
I
I'm
would
not.
say. I would say this is probably the worst. Going into a season, this is probably the worst I've felt though.
Yeah.
I think that like in the last 15 years, I think this is probably the worst I've.
Anyway,
I've
I
actually
just
felt.
asked a quick expectations, and because I want to wrap this up now. So yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuning in. That's in the season finally. We'll do a general review of the season for all fans on Sunday at 2, and that'll be it for that season. And then yeah, stick my head in the sand. And but yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuned in.
Did Static just say Pepe is not going anywhere? I said he's going to the AFCON. I didn't say he's leaving.
Yeah. Let's leave that now. Right. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Do smash that like button and subscribe button if you are new. Plus, on the community page, we have posted what ideas would you like as a perk. So please go and check that out and ask what would you want. So that'd be great for us to know. And yeah, and we'll be back tomorrow with what are we with tomorrow? That's a good point. What are we with tomorrow? Let's have a good point. Let's have a look. We have got the Manchester City preview at 6, the Checker Flag show at 6:30, and then at 9 o'clock, episode 2, Manchester United versus Liverpool rivalry. So until then, no worries. Until then, thank you. Big up, everyone. Big up. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button. Share it with everyone as well. Share it to friends, your family. My missed most because of training. Don't worry, go watch it back. It's been good stream. Very good stream. And yeah, make sure you go and check it out and go back and share it with everyone and get them to subscribe as well. So we're on our way to 1.5k. So at least, yeah, let's get that done. So until then, everyone stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you.
Arteta out.
Bye.